Are you ready to get woke? Welcome to the Woke as podcast with your host, Alex Lazarev.
All right. Welcome to another Woke as Fuck podcast. I'm here with the fantastic Becca Tzigany.
Good evening.
And this is one of those where, oh man, it's just one. I just don't know where to start. Where do you start?
Start 3 days ago.
I guess it's 3 days ago. So, on the 8th. What is it today? I got it here in front of the laptop. We're in front of a laptop, and I'm like, what day is it? I have no idea. It's the 16th. So, literally 8 days. 8 days. And it took me 5 days to arrive. First 5 days, I was still, just still matrix, kind of fear-based, kind of worried about money, kind of like, fucked. Kind of unhappy. Just coming from there. Basically, the long and short of it, when I was here last in Ecuador, had an absolutely unbelievably life-changing experience. And I've talked about it on the podcast. People know. And then I went back, and I couldn't take it with me. The peace, the joy, being present, having faith in all, just all of it, all the wonderful goodness of just oneness with all beings and knowing that I'm protected and all of it, just being fucking happy and relaxed and clear and on my purpose, all of that just went out the fucking window. And when you have that, just when you really get that peace and clarity and you're connecting with the divine and you just feel at one and it's just so beautiful, and then you lose that, it's like torture. It's like fucking torture. It's better not to have had that love and joy in your heart, almost, and lose it than just never knowing that it was possible. It's probably not true, but you know what I mean? It's just so brutal. It's just so brutal. And I tried. I was in London and I tried, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to the park. I'm going to do my breathing exercises. I'm going to do, I'm even doing yoga very regularly all the time, all these things. And yeah, they help a little bit, but you're just so in it. You're just so in it. The chasing your tail and, all the shit you have to do just to be there, just to exist, and mixed in with all people's energies and the fucking Wi-Fi and the guy, just all of it. It's an environment that for me, I'm talking all my personal experience. There could be some yogi right now in London sitting in a park listening to this going, you're an idiot. You know what I mean? Just totally blissed out. And like there could be who knows how many people right now going, dude, you're a retard. We're in London. We're having a great time. We're in New York. We're totally blissed out. And I respect that. But I'm talking about me. I can't fuck. I have not been able to do it. It was just so hard.
Yet. Because that truly was a test. And you saw how you did.
Shitty. I did shitty.
So it's a great place you can come up from.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and I was getting help, and another friend of mine, Abby, who was just on the show, she had a message. She was like, go to Hampstead Heath, which is a part of London, you know it. That's just very nice. And I had multiple messages going, you should check out Hampstead. So I finally went right on my last week. I finally went up there, took off my shoes, and I sat down, and I connected. I actually felt that peace and just like, oh, everything is okay. And I was like, oh, wow, okay, I can do it here. Oh, and it was like literally I had a week left, and I'm like, that's nice to know, but I'm fucking still getting the hell out of here. But it's just, maybe I wasn't committed enough. Maybe I wasn't putting in enough effort. I don't know. But it was just a slog. It was just such a slog. Campbell helped. Doing Campbell helped, for sure. But it was tough. And maybe in a year we'll do an episode and we'll talk and I'll be like, yeah, I've got to a place or something where I'm totally happy and connected everywhere and it doesn't matter where I am. And I hope so, because I want to be there. I really want to get to that place. That would be amazing. And of course, there's people like that. Let's be honest. There's people out there who can be absolutely blissed out and in touch with Source and themselves and anywhere. That's true. Therefore, it's something to strive for. But I guess that brings me to the what happened this week. So basically, 4 days ago, which is around my fifth day, I think, Yeah, 3-4 days ago. It was my 5th day here, and I was still like, ugh, and then I just started like coming back to myself. I just started coming back to myself, and it's been so intense for 4 days. It's like, holy shit, like. Okay, so I'll rewind 4 days ago. Okay, I mean, it's literally, I should have done a podcast every day for the last 4 days, and it would have been interesting and to me and profound. But anyway, let's go back. It started off with, and I just want to also say, like, all the spiritual practices that I'm like, yeah, sitting with God and all my straight, I still have been too busy and blah, blah, blah running around to really even get into that stuff. And even without even doing that stuff, I've been on a wild ride of growth in the last 4 days. So just from being here and being the fuck away from all that shit. So what happened was, I had some. I've been starting to get these really deep teachings in my dreams, and you know those dreams that aren't dreams. You know how sometimes you have the dreams and it's just like, oh, that wasn't, ha ha ha. And you have other dreams where you're like, that wasn't a dream. That was like I was somewhere doing some important stuff and there was lessons, and that was not a dream. That was me just doing other stuff somewhere else, and you know it. That's not like, oh, that was a dream. No. And I think there are both. There are dreams that are like, yeah, that was in. And then there's just like you're doing something somewhere else. And it's just as important as what you're doing here, if not more so. I guess that's another topic for another discussion. But you must have some epic dream fucking stuff
sure.
to share.
It's all about, becoming more aware, because we're so much greater than we've been led to believe. And when we get in the environment that is reinforcing how small we are and how limited we are and how impossible other things are, it could be hard to hold hard to hold our own self-knowledge of our own magnificence. And it's natural. That's what our programming has been. But your lucid dream helped you recall who you are.
Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't say it was lucid because I wasn't thinking I was dreaming at the time. I thought it was me, and I was just doing stuff and experiencing things as I would in here. But then when I woke up, I was like, oh man, it was so profound and amazing. It was a shock to wake up. I was literally like sad for a moment, like, fuck, that wasn't, fuck. And then it's like, no, it's okay. This is great too. And that was amazing. And then I wrote it down and, learned from it. So, let's see. This one wasn't that significant, but it's kind of interesting. Oh yeah. This is the one. This is the one that was like the first one was like, wow. Okay. So I'm just gonna read it. Funny or not, I'm just gonna read it and then we can talk about it. So I was in LA at this bar. It was insane. Someone snorted a line of coke, like in wide open, didn't give a shit. People were going fucking nuts. I was just killing time till this woman I started dating showed up, and I had this knife. Oh yeah, I remember I had this knife, and I just discovered I had this knife. I'm like, oh cool, I've got this big knife, and I wore it on my chest to show off. Just like, hey, I got this knife. Just walking around with this knife.
Nothing phallic there, but go on.
No, nothing at all. But I was walking around with this big knife attached to my chest, in the case. And so then I got in trouble as a cop saw it, and it got taken away by her. And she thought it belonged to some other guy who always had knives, and she was going to yell at him or arrest him because she was like, "Oh, this is going to be his third time." Like this guy was really in trouble, and I felt bad because I'm like, "Oh, this guy's going to get in shit because of me carrying this knife around." So I followed her and I confessed, and I just told her, "I was like, look, I just found this knife. I don't know how I got it, and I just started, walking around with it. Blah blah blah. I wasn't going to do it. You know what I mean? I confessed. I told her the truth. I'm the one that had the knife." And as we were and I was just really honest about it, and that felt good. And as we were talking, I discovered that my old BlackBerry phone, I had this gold BlackBerry that was awesome, and I found it. I was like, oh, this worked. This still works. Cool. And then I got a message. Some guy messaged me, and it was something from years ago, but I don't remember what it was. And then when we got back to the bar with the cop, I wanted to put my bike. Suddenly I had a bike, and I wanted to put my bike somewhere. And there was there was a little store, like a side little store, a shop, just before you walk into the bar on the right, and they were selling all of these treats, like cakes and just all kinds of treats and stuff. And I thought, oh, okay, And basically, I realized that I could store my bike there. So I put my bike in the corner, and I was about to leave. And then I realized I'm just using the store to place my bike there, and I don't know these people, and that's kind of a dick move. So I was like, oh, that's not cool. So I went in and I ordered some tasty sweet rolls, and then I opened up my BlackBerry, and there were three. Yeah, like I opened it physically, and there were like three really weird worm creatures inside. And I remember them. They were like these weird, colorful like worms, and I was like, oh, they're really gross. They freaked me out. And I was like, ugh. And then the store owner told me what they were and helped me to deal with them. Right. So that's one section of the dream. And I guess, yeah, that's actually not the super profound one. But anyway, we fucking might as well talk about this because I said it. What do you think of that?
Well, there's AI creeping up on you, right? Through your BlackBerry.
Sure, maybe. But here, this was just relative. Yeah, well, the knife thing is kind of taking responsibility, I guess, with the knife, like not letting some guy, but just being like, it was me. I'll take responsibility for that, which is fine, straightforward. And then just again, not being in a relationship where you're just assuming, like, just taking value from someone that you don't even fucking like. That's stupid. And then I'm like, okay, well, if I'm going to start my bike here, hey, I'll buy some stuff. That seems fair. And then just being present. And it's funny. I remember in the dream being conscious enough to be like, oh wait, like why would this guy look after my bike? That doesn't make sense. Let me at least buy something. That seems like the right thing to do. And so that was good. So I was being a nice, conscious person in my dream. That's good. And I guess there's a couple of little tidbits there. But that's actually the warm up. That's actually the warm up. That was just part of the same dream. Here's the part that's like, juicy. So basically, yeah, and I remember this still remember this. I'm in a garage, okay, and there's a guy. I look over, and there's a guy in his car, and I just noticed this big sheet of metal, that's just massive. That's part of the building or whatever, and it's loose and it starts moving, and I'm just like, fuck, it's gonna hit this guy in the car, and like I wanted to tell him or something, but it immediately happened. Like it happened right away, and it fell on his car, and it crushed the top part of his car down quite a bit, not completely, but it hit him, and he got pushed down in the car. And I was like, fuck. And I ran over, and then I looked in. I'm like, I hope he's not dead. And he wasn't dead. He had some blood on him, and he was dazed, but he was alive. He was all right. But he was fucked up. So I was like, okay, I got to get this guy out of the car. So I immediately started yelling at people. I'm like, you, call the fucking ambulance. You get it. And I just started bossing people around and doing shit. I'm like, I'm going to get you out of this car. And I basically just, did it. I just opened the door. I just pulled him the fuck out of the car. I put him next to some thing, and then other people came to help him, and a bunch of people showed up and started helping him. It was going to be okay, and I was just standing there, and now I'll check my notes because there was a poignant moment here coming up. Yeah, I basically remember. Yeah. So all that happened was somebody walks up to me while he's there and he's getting help and whatever, and after I saved him, he gives me two kinds of juice, 2 bottles of juice, and I accept, but through a friend. So his friend or someone who knows him says these juices are from him for you to say thanks. And I was like, oh, cool. And I was just very, So he says, yeah, I very casually was like, oh yeah, cool. And I looked at it a bit. I couldn't see what it said. I was like, yeah, cool. But I didn't pay much attention to it. And then the woman says, yeah, so she looked at me and she says, no. So originally when she came, she says, he wants you to have these. And I was kind of blatant and blasé, and I said, sure, whatever. But then she said, no, he wants you to have these. They're for you. And I remember I was like, oh, which one should I have? I'm not sure. And I was just like, okay, whatever. And then she was like, no, these are for you. And I realized when I woke up, it was like, I think it was representing 2 paths. And I'm being offered to, even though it's very simple, it's like, do you want to drink this juice or this juice? And I'm like, oh, whatever. But actually, it's very significant because I think that's a metaphor for you're being given 2 gifts, basically. But they're different gifts. They're 2 paths, and they're both good. But they're both for you. Which one are you going to pick? And for me, that was significant.
Do you know what the paths are?
Yeah, looking at my life, I'm having a lot of, we're getting to that, but I'm getting a lot more clarity on what I'm doing and all this kind of stuff. And I'm at a place where there's a crossroads of like, what am I going to do? So it's interesting. That's what I see. I see it as like they're both gifts, they're both possibilities, they're both good, and you pick. So there's no wrong. I think that's the message here. There's no wrong choice. They're both right choices, but you have to pick. And I got that out of it. I was like, okay, cool, awesome,
Good.
maybe there's no commentary.
Thanks for saving the guy.
Yeah. It was. I mean, I had to. There was nothing else to do other than to save the guy, so I saved the guy. This is funny. This is funny. And and I'll talk about these. And if some are boring, I'll just cut them up, and we don't have to use it. But so there's a guy called Mystery, and he teaches. I think I told you about him before. He teaches guys to pick up chicks, but he does all the kind of fakey stuff. Like use routines and memorize things and all this crap. And he's an old friend of mine. Or not, we're not really friends now, but I used to know him. And I used to always tell him, like, no, we can just come up to girls and just talk to them. And he's like, no, gotta use magic. Gotta do all this stuff.
Gotta trick them.
And basically I was at one of his seminars and he was teaching his stuff and I knew it was totally like not helping these guys. I looked at one guy and I was like, oh, this poor guy. He was just this guy who was like in his 40s and he just looked sad and I knew he was just not going to get the help he needs and I felt bad for the guy and it was awkward because I couldn't say anything because it's his seminar. It's like, what am I going to hit this guy's bullshit? And so one moment he was walking away from me and I felt into it and I was like, no, I do have to say something. And I'm going to do it with love. And I'm just going to turn him around and say, hey, man, I love you. And I know you're hurting and you're confused. And I knew I had to tell him the truth, even though everyone is going to hear it. And he's going to be hurt and it's going to destroy it. I had to be honest and come from the heart and tell him the absolute truth, which is he's fucking these guys up. And that if he realizes what he's truly doing, and he could not only change himself, he could change the world and all these guys. And I had to tell him. And I was just about to do it, and I didn't do it in the dream, but it was this knowing, like, okay, I have to do it. And it's actually something I've been thinking about for years. Just going back to this guy and being like, dude, this stuff is not the helping people, So it was interesting. So maybe that was just a message of like, stay in your fucking heart and have these conversations that you need to have, even though they're really difficult, even if they're difficult for the other person.
And you did not do the action. You did not do the action. And so much of what's going on in the world is because we won't take action. We won't stand in our truth up to things that are hurting others.
Yep.
That's an important reflection.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like we're bred that way to just avoid any uncomfortableness or truth, just kind of like avoid it and blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, that's why things are getting so fucked up, because no one's actually being truthful and honest with their needs or with what other people's stuff and how they're making, like, there's just no real communication. It's all just shadows and mirrors and this is why everybody fights and breaks up in relationships. It's all because there's no genuine communication, So that was cool. Mm-hmm. That was a good one. So that was so, and there's some other stuff, and I got some learning out of it. But then it gets very interesting. And this one was quite recent. So this is what happened. Yeah, this was just the other night. This was just 2 nights ago, and it really moved me. Oh man, lots of other stuff happened in the dream, but it was basically, and I could bring it up, but I'm not sure the other stuff is that important. It was yeah, I'll just say the part that I remember that really moved me. So I was in this dream, interesting things were happening, whatever, and at one point there was a woman. She was just I just knew her. I just knew that she was. It's not like she was my friend. She was just a woman, but I knew her on a kind of a soul level. Like I just had familiarity, and she was with 2 kids. She was on the streets, and she was on some kind of building or somewhere sleeping, and she had her one child in front of her and one behind her, and both cuddled up next to her for warmth. And I knew that they didn't, they were on the street. They were really having a hard time, and I felt such connectedness, just such compassion. I was just like really wanted to help this woman so much. I just really cared about her and her plight, and I really wanted to help her so much. Felt so much compassion. And when I woke up, I was like heartbroken that I couldn't help her because it was a dream. I literally was like, oh fuck, I really wanted to help that woman so much, and it was a dream. And then I realized that woman is every woman, every person, all the people that are suffering. That's who that was. It's everyone. And I don't know why this is beeping. I think the battery there, but it doesn't matter because we're recording over here. That's totally fine. And so it was really, really deep. It was really, really deep. And then today, and then to add to this, then I realized that when I went to sleep the night before, I played Choying Drolma, she's a Tibetan monk, and I see what's happening. That's fine. And she basically, it's a compassion mantra. I went to bed listening to it. I just left it on and went to sleep. I was, just quietly. It was just in the background, and it went on for hours until my battery kicked out. So I went to sleep listening to a compassion mantra, which has made me, it's part of my story, has made me cry and open up my heart when I was in Budapest a year ago. I just left it on, and I had dreams that were just fucking pulled me into compassion in such a way that I couldn't have imagined it. And then I went, and Casper, was like, hey, let's take a small dose of San Pedro and climb up a hill and go to a waterfall. So we did, and I didn't really feel the San Pedro very much. It was a very small dose. I couldn't really even notice much, nothing. But anyway, maybe it was working subtly. But anyway, we climbed up there, went under the river, the waterfall. And I was, just in the cold water and swimming, and it was good. And he went off for a minute on his own back to sit. I was there on my own, and I just thought about this woman, and then that's when I really realized it's like I'm opening up to compassion for all beings. This is what I'm going through. And that's when I really realized, like, she, it's not, she represents humanity, everybody. And I fucking started bawling my eyes out, crying under that waterfall. Just crying like I haven't cried in years. Like wailing, like borderline wailing, just crying. Just feeling compassion for this, just everyone. I don't know. I mean, just everyone.
We live in a time when there's so much suffering in the world. It's off the charts. And so we don't feel it. We can't feel it and continue on. That's a very significant dream, I think. Because when we let it in, how can you hold that much pain? Because that woman is times billions.
Yeah.
How can you hold that member of the human family is multiplied many times different levels of suffering? So if we live in a world where 20% of the world is starving, it would be like we're seated at a dinner table and we're all friends, we're having a great dinner, and 4 of us are eating and 1 person isn't, and they're hungry. So in our world, I think we have to close it off. We can't feel it.
This is it. This is exactly what I wanted to continue saying. I've been cutting off because I do love people, and I'm naturally just like I love and I want to help people, and I've been cutting myself off from feeling. And part of it was like, yes, I was in a relationship where I was madly in love with a woman and I had to walk away from it. And that was very, very painful. And maybe to a degree, I shut myself down there, maybe. But so much more than that. Like when a homeless person, like usually like if someone's homeless, I'm like, yeah, here's a couple bucks, here's a sandwich, whatever. I give them some money. But other times they come up and I literally close my heart down. I'm just like, no, just don't talk to me. Because I don't want, and this is what I'm realizing, it's because I don't want to talk and tune into them and really connect, because then I'm just like, it's just someone suffering in front of me and I just don't want to feel it. And so I shut it down and I don't have any money for you. And we're all cutting ourselves off from feeling.
So you know what I do, because we live in a place where there are lots of poor people and people come up for money, is I always connect in the eyes. And I ask them about their lives. And I check in because I want to be present with them. And then, especially if I don't happen to have any money, I'll say, no, I can't give to you today, but I really, wish the best for you, because I've done the same thing where it's just shut down, shut down, shut down. But then we shut down not only feeling what's coming in, but our ability to get through the barrier to have emote to somebody else. Your dream is a metaphor because so many people are homeless and hungry, and there are children being raised in that environment. What kind of trauma are they going to have to recover from? It's our world right now. How can we tune in and be present without going crazy or giving away all our money? But I do think we have to be present with it. And if more people did, we wouldn't have this situation, because people would get like how you're feeling. Like, I can't tolerate this. I have to point my life in a way so that I'm co-creating a world where this won't happen again.
Yeah. It's just like I heard people talking about compassion before, and I was like, yeah, cool. And in a way, like in my own way, I'm just always trying to help people, but there's a difference between that and having compassion in your heart and really see what I'm saying. Like, you can be a nice person and try and help people. That's great, but you could do that without actually really having a deep level of compassion. And I'm still confused about that. I really don't have, it's like the whole thing is new to me. But as my heart started opening a year ago, and the first time was listening to that same song in Budapest, just sitting and doing my exercise where I'm just listening to the universe. That's the first, and I just started crying. That's the first opening. And then I did the primal course, which opened more, and then came here and was meditating and open. So when I left here, my heart was open. Josh, I was sitting there once, and I did a meditation with him, and I cried a bit, and I was like, I was just thinking of Sri Sri, the Indian guru, and I just thought about him. I was happy, and a little tear. I was just so happy. My tear came down my eyes, and he looks at me. He goes, "Dude, your heart is open." And I was like, "No, I'm getting there." He's like, "No, your heart is open." And I was like, "Cool." That's the state I was at when I left this place, and I came back just fucked. Anyway, so this process it's an ongoing process, but like it just started happening so fast when I got back here. Just boom. Like the universe is just like, okay, here we go, back on it. Like times fucking 10, like insane.
Well, you're ready for it too. You want it. It is what you want. It is what you're open to. You've declared it, so you're getting what you're asking for.
So I guess to wrap up this part of the conversation, I think like most people, I was afraid to have an open heart and to feel, because you don't want to get hurt. But when you close up, you don't love as much either. And now it's like, you understand it theoretically, like, yeah, sure. But really opening up and being open to really feel means really feeling love and in all of its wonders, and really feeling sadness. And I think if you get to that place, you have to be able to cry and let the sadness out and express it. Because if you don't, you start closing up again.
Why the hell else are we in human bodies? I mean, we can play it safe. We can look for security, which, by the way, is a total illusion, but we can talk ourselves into some idea of security. But then it comes to that saying, "'Tis better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all." I mean, we can have a milquetoast existence, but then why bother? For me, I'd much rather, I look at my life and how passionate I've been about so many experiences in my life, and I've had really hard times too. I think Sophia Loren said, if you've never cried, your eyes can't be beautiful. And I believe that. If we feel everything, of course, to a certain, we have to be able to manage that. But to be able to really feel everything and then take some more of that Buddhist teaching that says, now be a witness to that. Feel it deeply, but keep your center. Then we're participating. So I can look in the eyes of a beggar, and I comb compassion, to be with them in feeling. Just to be with them in feeling. And usually afterwards they thank me. And I didn't give them any money. But I was able to open my heart to them. And that's what everybody wants. Everyone listening to this wants to feel love. And it can be painful. And yeah, that's part of it too.
Yeah. And I think it goes along with this whole societal thing of just like, distracting ourselves and running away from it. Like nobody's forced to, and because no one's being honest with each other, nobody's being forced to really deal. Nobody's being forced to really, oh yeah, you're depressed? Yeah, cool, take these pills. But why are you depressed?
Why are people on antidepressants at really an epidemic level? Because if you're sane and you look at the world, you're going to feel sad because it's a disaster that's unfolding. So for us to let that in and feel, of course we're going to weep. Of course we're going to scream and tear our hair out. And maybe that'll get us off our duffs enough to stand up and say, I will not permit this war. Like what if soldiers, when, the United States, the warmongering country, were to, we need more soldiers, we're going to go to war in Iraq. Well, I'm a child of the 60s, and there was a saying back then, what if they gave a war and nobody came? Because from what I understand of the law of karma, it's the order followers hold a much greater responsibility. The ones that shoot the gun, that drop the bombs, they've got that karma. The generals are just saying words. Mm-hmm. And the leaders, the ones that lead a country into war, they're just talking some propaganda. And apparently that's why they do that. Because they're like, let the soldiers take the consequences. They're the ones that are going to deal with whether you want to call it hellfire or just the sharp pain of their own karma. And we're all, to a certain extent, order followers. I mean, I myself included. I hold a passport. I have a credit card. I'm playing by their rules to a certain extent. And they're counting on all of us to stay in line. And beginning to feel the pain of the world, it's no joke. It's not funny. It's painful. But then the heart is a muscle. So the more you get to exercise it, then your capacity for love increases. And what happens through love and compassion is now we're into a really exciting story.
I just don't want to cut myself off anymore. I just want to get in that space of being in the heart and loving and having compassion, and just I don't even know how far this goes. Like, what happens when I'm totally this is just happening to me now. Like, I'm just like, what the fuck, like fucking crying my eyes out. So many dreams coming in and teaching me stuff, and it's deeper. Like I'm gonna go like really deep now, but it's 8. So you should we do a bit more, or do you want to?
Let's talk a little more on this topic.
Okay, all right. Let's stick to this, and then we can go deeper on the other thing.
I'd like to make a point. There's a difference between pain and suffering. I've coached women in birth. I've worked as a doula, and there are sharp feelings in childbirth. No two ways about it. But whether or not you suffer through it, whether or not you're going to contract against that pain, that's up to us. And as a labor coach, I'm getting them through it with breathing. Now, we can also use breathing to get through, as your heart opens, you're going to feel more, we could use the word pain, but I prefer the word contraction. If your heart starts to contract against what it is, use breathing or whatever practices, let it in, breathe it, circulate it, become that woman on the street with the children who are hungry and cold and starving and homeless. Let that in. And then, again, taking a witness perspective of a perspective on it, then it's like, okay, and this multiply this by 1 billion. Can I hold that? Now, given that, what am I free to do? Gosh, I'm free to do anything. When we contract against it and we run away from it, that's when we need antidepressants and we need television and we need alcohol and we need drugs and we need pornography and we need the things that pull us away from ourselves. But as we come more and more into ourselves, we are the ones who are more aligned with our true souls and feeling all the menu of human emotion. We're the ones that can create a new world. The zombies can't do it. We can see the zombie world already. And it's self-destructing. I mean, we're in the zombie apocalypse right now.
Yeah. Yeah, you see all those shows about some outbreak, but actually people voluntarily turn into zombies. That's what happens.
They're even making it like the art forms, the books and the movies about vampires and about zombies. So they're like a cool thing. But holy shit, really? Is that what we're going to enshrine? Dangerous unconsciousness?
That's where it's going. In some ways. In some ways, many people are going the exact opposite way of like total consciousness. So it's what's so interesting about this dichotomy. It's like I can see it getting worse and worse and worse, and at the same time, better and better and better. Because so many people are joining all these amazing groups and so many great teachers out there. So many people waking up, and other people, let's be honest, we're talking mainly about the United States, just going further into just degeneracy and just complete unconsciousness in so many ways, on so many levels.
But everyone listening here has a choice to open more and more the heart and feel all those uncomfortable, the sadness. And because, we're losing species, we're losing people, we're losing ecosystems. This is a sad moment. Now, feel that. That will motivate you. Like, what can I do?
Mm-hmm.
Now then the game changes. But not while people are numb.
That's right. And that's the thing. Like, we close ourselves off to that reality. Like, everyone knows we're destroying the planet. Everyone knows all the water's polluted. The food's getting dirty. There's fucking radiation now all over the place. I mean, species, it just goes on and on and on and on. Anyone who's at all 1% woke, like a little bit paying attention, just knows we're destroying it. That's a fact. How many people are doing anything about it? Yeah, there's some conscious people like, yeah, let's recycle and blah, blah. Okay, cool. Yeah, you're recycling. That's nice. But other than recycling and maybe not wasting food, I think that's as far as most people go. That's it.
The system is made to keep everybody in the destruction path.
That's right. And we're all part of it. Like, I'm no exception. Like, I have all the same shit anyone. I have an iPhone. I have a Mac. I buy all this, you know what I mean? I'm the same. But for me, my path is, trying to shake people the fuck out of it.
Yeah, okay, you rode an airplane to get here. I ride airplanes too. But where's most of your life energy going? And that's the question we all have to ask ourselves. What am I serving? Who's my master? Am I serving my higher vision of myself? Is that what I'm serving? Or am I serving the man, so to speak?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And if more people just went, like, really looked at their lives, and this is something that it's just such a major topic, and it's a whole fucking hour show we can do on it. But like, all these people who are, and I went through this. Look, I've been into cryptocurrency, right? And literally just a few days ago, and there's a lot, like when this is being recorded, a lot of crazy stuff's going on, a lot of things going on, and just like, and I've been into it for a couple of years, so it's a part-time enthusiast hobby. And why not? It's fun. It's fun, and it keeps going up. So I keep making more money, so it's good. And I got sucked in. I came here, and all this shit was happening, and I just got sucked in, and I felt it happening. Like, oh man, I want to make more money, and I'm going to trade, and I'm going to do all this, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go with this. Let's see where this goes. And for 2 days, was a degenerate trading and just like sucked into that world. And
I watched you.
I'm just going to go for it because look, I followed my excitement. I was genuinely excited, and I went, well, I'm excited about it now. I'm going to do it because I genuinely was excited about it, and I did it for 2 days. Didn't sleep one night. It was insane. And I woke up after that night, and I just went, that's not for me. I'm never doing that again. That's it. And I decided that I'm putting my portfolio into long-term things I believe in and putting it offline safe, and I'm going to forget about it. I can't. You know what I mean?
Where do you want to channel your life energy?
Yeah, because who cares? Even if I did that and I made $10 million, I don't want to suffer and put my energy into that because then you want more. It was a horrible shit. I don't want that. And I got some real fucking clarity, and I'm like, nope. Actually, you know what? Don't give a shit about that at all. And I can't. And I don't want to put my energy there. And immediately I went and just made the game plan. That's it. I'm changing it. I'm not going to be wasting time on that anymore. That's it. And so that led to some other profound stuff. But back to this. So when I see people all the time, and I've had clients and so many people who are just doing something for money because they need money to survive. That's it. It's as simple as that. They have no choice. They have rent to pay. They have bill, blah, blah, blah. And they're just doing some shit. And it's one of the saddest things about this current reality that we're in. It's really shitty. And I get it. Like, yes, we need money currently, and it doesn't have to be evil. Money's not evil or bad. But to get trapped in to really slaving away and putting your life energy, we're talking about your life fucking energy, into something that just makes you survive, not thrive, not be passionate, not be excited to wake up. That sucks.
And so it comes down to the key question: what is my life purpose? What is my destiny path? That is the question that faces everyone. And the more you avoid it, the more you're going to need all the numbing, which the system is happy to give you many things to numb out and go unconscious. But if you face that question, why am I here? Who am I? Why am I here? If you face that question, it's not unanswerable. Now, the answer may evolve, the answer may expand, the answer may have many facets to it, but you will get an answer, and then you're on the path. And then life becomes a wonder-filled adventure.
So this is exactly where this was going for me. I had that realization. I was like, nope, I'm not doing that shit. Nope. And I just started, so I've got this thing, right? Technically, I'm a Jew, okay? And Jews, they like money. They'll like figure out things to make money. Oh, I could do this, make a little bit, it's just part of the thing. And I'm quite clever, and I'm like that too. I can make money. I always have ideas on things. So many ideas that I couldn't possibly execute them all. And so there's this struggle as I'm going down this path. I'm like, actually, no, like I know what my purpose is and I want to do all this kind of stuff. But then there's that, like, yeah, but you can do this with money, you can do this for money, It's this weird fucking thing. And just in the last, couple of days, one day I was in town a couple of days ago, and it was starting to rain, and I was like, oh, I could get a taxi. It was really raining a lot, and then I was like, why the fuck would I avoid the rain? It's water. What the fuck is the matter with me? And I just walked calmly, got wet. And by the time I walked up to the front gate here, I knew exactly what I was going to do. It was such clarity, and the clarity simply came down to one thing: being absolutely in line with your purpose and your integrity moving forward, and having absolute clarity and absolute integrity in everything that you do, in business, in life, everything. And it just hit me like a ton. And it's been building up to this, and I've had other realizations, but it just fucking hit me. Everything you do, everything dealing with people, because anything, you have to be 100% in alignment with your integrity. Like, where you're really like, this is what I'm doing. I'm okay. I'm open about it. This is fucking good. This is what I want. This is what I'm doing. And you just tell everybody that. And anything that strays from that, anyone who isn't with it, or that's fine. Don't just stick absolutely 100% to your truth. And it hit me so fucking hard. And I realized the next thing that I'm going to do that's, it's a big thing. And I've been building up to it, and I've known, like, I'm here to do something big. More than one thing. But this one thing, the next thing, this is going to sound cocky, but it's going to change things in the world. And not to say, like, oh, it's so huge. It doesn't even matter, because I know it's the right thing to do for me in my life. I'm going to change the way I'm doing something in my life, the way I do business, in such a profound way that even just me doing that and telling people, just even people around me, this is how I'm doing things now, because this is in alignment. And it's different from other people are doing it, and it's a bit, but that's how I'm going to do it, because and even though it's a bit fucking nuts, this is how I'm going to operate now. That's going to have repercussions, big ones. And other people are going to go, okay, and they're going to see what I'm doing, and it's fucking right, and it's right for me, and they're going to go, oh, okay, I'm going to do that too. It's a different way of thinking and being. And I'm not gonna. The thing that it is, there'll be a right time to do that and come out with it and tell everybody, this is how I'm doing it now. This is how I'm living my life now. But I can say that it's going to be. I'm not going to even get involved. Like now, I have projects and I'm starting things I'm doing that are really fucking cool and are great. And I was getting pulled in many different directions where I'm like, oh my God, there's too many things to do, but I'm so excited. And it was tearing me apart. I didn't have enough time. It was stressed out. It was brutal. And then now I realize that there's no need to be stressed out at all, because I've started doing this, and everyone is so excited. I just somebody that I really connect with and trust. I say, this is a project I want to do. This is my vision. I think it's going to be amazing. And I think I'm going to help you, but you're going to run this. Are you in line with this vision? Does this excite you? And you're going to be fully responsible for this, and I'm going to help you give advice, but you're going to run this, and we'll work something that's not about the money, but it's just something that's going to be good. And every person, a couple of people I've already done this with, they're just like, fuck yes. This is fucking awesome. And it's having those relationships and trusting these people that you're in alignment with to go and work with, and to, you know what I'm saying? And this is a conversation I'm going to have with Casper on a business podcast, because this is a different way of doing business. Mm-hmm. Aligning with people who are very clear on what you want to do and saying, great, let's do it. But if you're in a situation like me, when you have many projects going on, to say, cool, yeah, I'll lend you support, but I trust you to run with my vision and do this, and I'll help, and also add other revelations that are also related to this being in alignment. It's like, I don't feel like, yes, you can go and make lots of money doing things, but who fucking cares? I don't want money or need lots of money. What's the point? And I wasn't inspired doing these things that I'm doing that are like, I'll do this and I'll make a bunch of money. Like, yeah, so fucking what? What's the point? And then linking back to something in the book Conversations with God, which was an amazing book, and God said, tell everybody how much money you're making, and tell everybody how much money you're giving to charity. And if businesses start telling everybody, yeah, hey, we made $8 million, gave $4 million to charity, and another business that's in the same business goes, yeah, we made $8 million, we didn't give any to charity, that business isn't going to do so well when people are conscious and in their hearts. They'll just be like, well, we'll just spend our money on the other one that's giving half the money to feed starving people. Mm-hmm. And I realized that's how I'm going to live my life. And I'm going to go and I'm going to make shit tons of money. And I'm going to give 90, who knows, most of it to just amazing fucking projects that really change the world. And that's the only reason there is for me to go and make shit tons of fucking money. There's no other inspiration.
Money's meant to flow. Yeah. So you're going to complete the circuit.
And it goes deeper than that. Because like, you get sucked into this greed thing, like, oh yeah, I could get this, and then now I'm just like, I don't need any. I'm fine. And again, let me just go a bit deeper. So there's that's that aspect where I just want to have that open honesty. And when I deal with people and I'm saying, yeah, we'll do this project and we can make all this money, but hey, honestly, if we do this, let's give this percentage to just amazing. Yeah, have some for you and I'll have some for me. We all have to eat and do stuff. But a big chunk, let's just fucking do something incredible, amazing for humanity. Because what the fuck do we need with this shit ton of money? So that's one part of it. And then this other thing happened that goes with it. And this was super fucking huge. And I'm just going to fucking say it and we can talk about it another time. But this was a life-changing moment for me today. Completely life-changing. I was going to go into town after having the San Pedro and having other realizations, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to go into town and I'm like, okay, where's the key? I'm going to lock the door. And I've been having this weird thing where like where I'm staying is safe and it's fine. And I'm in this habit of locking the door. Oh, I'll lock the door at night. And if I go out, I better lock it just in case, all this shit. And I'm just like, and I really tuned into it. I'm like, what the fuck am I afraid of? That someone's going to come in here, take my money or my passport or my fucking laptop or any of this shit? And I was getting so clear on my purpose and who I was and that what I'm going to do in this world, how much fucking impact I'm going to have and how lucky I am to be who I am. And I just had this moment of clarity where it's just like, I don't care if someone comes in here and takes all my shit. If I walked out of here and somebody took all my everything, all my cash, passport, laptop, all that shit, right? It would mean nothing to me. Because I'm fucking me, and nobody can take that away. I'm fucking me. You can't take that away from me.
So do you know how many...
None of this shit fucking makes any difference. I will just get it again. It doesn't matter. And the freedom to just go, wait, no. And furthermore, if someone comes in and steals my money, everything happens by the grace of God. Everything. So that means that they needed it more. That was divine. They needed it. And if it really is divine for them to even take my passport, it's only going to happen if there's a lesson in it for me, a genuine lesson, in which case I want the lesson. And if somebody really needs the laptop or this shit more than me, and then that's fine. Let them have it. I literally gave permission. I literally looked up and said, hey, you know what? I don't want my shit stolen. But hey, if there's someone out there that God, the universe goes, this person actually needs that money that you have, I said, they can have it.
Yeah, but then they'll have the karma of being a thief.
Yeah, sure. But I made peace with this fear of like, I have to lock somebody. I literally just went, no, I'm not going to have that anymore. I'm not going to have it. I don't want that. I wasn't in alignment with the energy of the fear and worry about locking the door. I literally fell out of alignment. I felt it happen today. I'm just like, I'm not in a place where I need to lock that door. It's wrong. It doesn't feel right to go, I'm going to lock this door. I don't need to.
So how many local thieves do you think subscribe to your podcast?
That's the question now. Now things are getting a little bit, and because I said that, now I'm going to have to lock the fucking door. Guys?
I just like to make one more comment before I go to dinner. For anyone listening to this that is like, well, that's cool, Sasha, but I really don't know my life purpose and I don't know my destiny path. So, it all sounds great and grandiose, but how the heck am I going to get there? I'd just like to say that you generally don't get the bolts of lightning. Some people do. You do. That's great. But otherwise, it's a feeling. And that's the thing about de-armoring the heart, being able to actually identify your own feelings. And then you just lean into the feeling. So if you're listening to this and you don't know why you were born and if you have a mission on earth, that's okay. Just figure out what gladdens your heart and do that. And then that'll lead to another thing that gladdens your heart. And then that leads to, it becomes an expanding circle of pleasure and ease with the world. And that's all you really have to know.
Yeah. And that's what it comes down to, just feeling. It all comes back down to just feeling. In every situation, how do I feel about this or this person or this job or this experience? All of it, just feel it. The answers are there. But we just go with what we're supposed to do or expected to do, and we ignore our hearts and our spirits, and it's fucking brutal. And that's what's tearing this planet apart.
And we have a guidance system. It's installed in the heart, and the dominator system is set up so that we lose touch with it. Because if our guidance system is intact, then we don't need anyone to tell us where to go or how to live or anything. So it's getting back in touch with our own internal compass.
Yeah.
And that's the being able to kindle the flame in our hearts. And if anyone listening to this feels like that flame has gone out, then just lean into one thing that helps you feel comfortable in your own skin.
Wise words. And I think that's a perfect place to leave it for this week. We'll be back, if not next week, very shortly with the fantastic Becca Tzigany. Love you guys. See you next time.
Thanks, Sasha.